Hi, and thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the 2026 Beta 450 RX. This is another beautifully crafted European motorcycle that's still fairly new to motocross. It arrived in 2024, and in between Triumph and Ducati announcing their own motocross bikes, Beta never got the attention in the motocross world that it truly deserved. We deal with off-road bikes, so many of Beta's features and design elements are familiar to us. But even so, this effort was a massive undertaking from a small company. It's a double overhead cam design. It has a hydraulically actuated diaphragm clutch and so forth. But almost everything is subtly changed for motocross, including the engine cases, the 5-speed gearbox, the displacement, and the overall state of tune. In fact, this bike introduced technology and designs that then bled over to the off-road bikes. For example, the motocross-inspired frame is used for the other models. Same goes for those engine cases, which were made lighter for the RX and now are used throughout the line. Beta has always used KYB suspension for its race editions, but on this model, it is tuned more specifically for motocross. For 2026, Beta made a number of changes that might not be visible at first glance. First of all, it received a new cylinder head that is said to have greater flow. The piston has new coatings to reduce friction, and the intake manifold has a longer internal horn. The exhaust has been redesigned from front to back. The counterbalance shaft is redesigned to reduce vibration, and the mapping is all new. The chassis geometry is unchanged, but the frame now incorporates a cast-in brace for more strength around the steering head. There were also changes to the airbox and the aluminum subframe. Despite the fact that Beta used the Liqui Supercross team to further develop this bike, the production model shows the company's true priorities. It's designed for real-world riders, particularly in the vet classes. It isn't a beast. It has a very smooth, linear power delivery. The peak power is competitive, but not overwhelming. Clearly, Beta could have gone for more power if it wanted. The bikes that Benny Bloss and Mitchell Oldenburg ride in Supercross are competitive at the highest level, and Zane Roberts' Hare and Hound bike doesn't give away anything to anyone. But for Beta, the rideability campaign is more than a slogan. How fast is it? On the Pro Circuit dyno, it made 54.6 horsepower at 10,500 RPM. That compares to the KTM powered MX bikes, which are around the 60 horsepower model. The difference is that the Beta peaks at much higher RPM, so the initial hit is mellow, but you can hold it open and shift later. The Beta has a very long power band, and that's one of the reasons that vet riders love 350cc motocross bikes so much. The biggest improvement for 2026 is definitely the mapping. In his first year, the RX was in danger of flaming out in tight, slow-speed sections. It also ran a little hot. It seems that both issues have now been addressed. It has both traction control and a mild map available on the fly, but the bike is already exceptional at finding traction with no electronic aids needed. One thing that's the same across the Beta line is overall stability. The same traits that keep Zane Roberts on track in a 50-mile-an-hour desert bomb run allow the RX to withstand high-speed outdoor motocross tracks. Remember, before this bike was ever offered to the public, the original test bed was MXGP, where the bike was developed for 4 years. For production, though, the suspension is definitely on the cushy side. That vet rider philosophy is clearly visible in fork and shock setup. The Beta is a little big feeling in turns. It's a long, tall motorcycle, but it's certainly not heavy. The weight is right in the middle of the class, 237 pounds without fuel on our scale. That's lighter than a Kawasaki or Suzuki, heavier than a KTM or Yamaha. Still, the bike is much more popular with bigger riders. Small riders, kids, women might find it a little too spread out. Attention to detail is something that Beta clearly takes pride in. We love the controls, the foot pegs, the push-button seat removal, and it has little bits and pieces everywhere that are anodized or polished. It's a great-looking motorcycle, typically Italian. This bike was included in our recent 2026 450 MX comparison, which is already here on our YouTube channel, so check that out. And it will also appear in the February 2026 print edition of Dirtbike. Then you can go see more about this and all the other 2026 motocross and off-road bikes at dirtbikemagazine.com. I'm Ron Lawson. Thanks for watching.